plan would be front engine mounts, and then hopefully mount those front tires as well, so we have somewhat of a rolling frame and I could take it off wood. That'd be a good goal. So I'll do another, same thing as the back, just a flat strip on each side of this engine mount. So we talked about leveling the motor to the back axle when we did these engine mounts on this side. Now we have to square it so it's not twisted. We set up a board here just to put the speed square on to go up to this mount, and then we could, once we make sure that's fairly straight, we kind of have a point to measure to. Then we measured to this outside pipe here, did the same on that side, and that makes sure it's square to the frame. Got the front engine mounts on. Now we're moving into the steering, and I had mentioned that you might want to get one of these. I've moved that up to definitely get one. We'll put a link in the description. So what we did for this is this whole square frame really came into handy. It ended up being the appropriate distance from the center of the frame, the part that will actually be framed. So I initially just put it there, gave it a little bit of caster, tacked that on, and then checked the caster with this. That way when we do the other side, I have some sort of guideline to try to get that right. Ethan pointed out that camber doesn't really matter, it's aesthetics. So for this one, we basically did no camber. The caster is the forwards and backwards tilt of the steering point, and then the camber is side to side. So then after we did that, I put this crossbar on, which will kind of make like an A-arm. And then I just notched it to the front tube, put it on the bottom here just to hold that where it was at. And then I did this back one here, because eventually this will get cut out. So I wanted to put this one in before I cut this out. So I'll replicate the other side, and then I'll come in, I'll put this, I'll measure this bar and then cut that chunk out when everything's really square. And I can measure from this point to the other side to make sure these are at the same elevation as well. As promised, we're gonna go over this little notching with the grinder stuff. Pretty simple. Put the pipe on halfway, so you'll still be able to slide it on, and then just mark that with a Sharpie, and then just take a cutting blade, and I'm just gonna cut as much as I can out with this first, and then I'm gonna use a flappy disc blade, and then just kind of fine tune that inside bit. So we use round tube just because that's what we're used to, but if you're not planning on bending it, you should use square tube. It'd make measuring easier, notching easier, the whole 9 yards. So if you're not bending it, think about square tube.
We're gonna take a quick break to talk about the sponsor of this video, Opinion Outpost. Opinion Outpost is an easy way to get some extra money. Just hop on, answer some surveys, and get paid. They pay you out by sending you gift cards, or even just sending you money straight to your PayPal. You're really just getting paid for your opinion. It's cool. I tried it out, got the money sent to my PayPal, and now we're gonna put that money towards parts for the cop car build. So check it out, it's free, it's easy, the link is in the description below, but now let's get back to building this thing.
Pretty productive day. I started off wanting to mount the engine the rest of the way and get the tires on, and we did that. It's the end of the day, and it's rolling on its own, which is sweet. on steering, and if we get that done quick enough, hopefully we'll do some chain work as well. So we'll find some that fit the kit, and we'll put those in the description as well, but we're just gonna steal the ones from the Barbie car today. So I'm gonna cut these down, go ahead and tap it a little farther so it will fit, and then we could work on mounting the steering wheel, and should be pretty simple. With the steering and tie rod setup. Tie rods were pretty basic. Once we got them to the right length, then I just marked a center point in between the motor bracket here, and then I slid this through. This will come in the kit, this little piece of metal here that comes inside the kit, and that's just going between the tie rod and the steering column, and it has to go up. So then once I did that, I put the body back on, put the seat in just to try to get a comfortable position of the steering, and then, hey puppy, intermission time. What we did after that is I put this jack stand under there, so when I took the body off, I could kind of keep it at roughly the same height and then the same in-out pull. And then we have a bushing under here that I tacked on, and then now that will kind of hold this roughly where it needs to go, so I can make another support system and another one of these little bushings there. And then all we'll do is we'll just grease these up. And so what we're using here, it wouldn't matter if it was round or square, and it could be solid, or it could already have a hole, and then you could just drill it out to the size you need. Onto the second steering column mount. I'm just keeping it simple with some tube. I started off by notching these, and then what helped a lot is I made sure I notched both of them with the black line in the center. And then what they're gonna do is they're gonna come together, and we'll put a bearing point up top. But why that little mark is important is once you have them up here and you get it eyeballed aligned with the center of the steering wheel, now I can line that mark up, and I know I'm roughly halfway through, mark down here, and that will get a pretty even cut. So they'll marry well, and then I'll be able to notch the top of it for the next bearing as well. So simple, sturdy, and coming right along. So after I got the other one cut, I just tacked those two together, and then I was able to set it in here and then just draw the rough angle of this steering column, and then I took it over and notched it. Then getting it lined up, again, we just really want to make sure this is straight. So what I used for that is these crossbars to eyeball it to get it close. And then once I got it put in there, then I used the bottom one to make sure it's not twisted side to side, and then this one to make sure it's not pitched forwards or backwards. And then this is a 2-inch little bushing we talked about. So I'll slide that up. That'll be the first thing I tack to this, and then I'll double check that the rack is aligned and the steering column's aligned, and then I'll tack that to the frame off of a couple Sharpie marks I laid out, and we'll be good to go and be steering. That's how you do it right. There we go. And we got, that moving freely. So I'll just finalize the distance in and out, and then I'll tack it onto the steering pivot there, nice and straight. And then we can turn this thing, and we'll be ready to roll it a little bit. out to do steering today and we accomplished that goal. We're rolling and we have the steering set up, so that's pretty sweet.